Hey there, in today's video I am showing you another way to use some of your collage papers, and it is to make a little pouch, and literally the supplies are so simple. It's like your collage paper, possibly cardstock or a grocery bag, and then some tape. So I don't think it gets any easier than that. So anyway, I'm always looking for unique and practical ways to use my collage papers, and honestly I've been making these for years, and I believe I got the idea from Robin Marie Smith. She's always doing these kind of fun, taking her art and making it into something fun. So anyway, I will link her YouTube video, her YouTube account below. And I don't know that there's much else to say other than let's get started. Before I show you how to make these little pouches, I thought I would just show you some that I have already made and that I've used, to store stuff. So I took the stuff out of them. I don't know why, but just I guess for the sake of example, I a lot of times tuck little pieces of my collage paper or different things. I just think it's fun to make my own little folders. And so if I have paper, I will make my own. Anyway, okay, so this one was made from collage paper that I then attached to a little bit heavier cardstock, because I find that these folders work a little better if the paper is heavier. The thinner paper can tear. So if you take your thin collage paper and glue it to another more sturdy substrate, then you can just use it like this. And for this one, I used this fabric tape here. So it's as simple as that. I just taped around the edge. So on this side, I thought it would be fun to kind of extend the green. I don't know what the result was like, but so it's kind of, you could get some cute tapes, I think. Obviously you need it a little bit wider in order for it to go around. But so this is a cute little folder that I have made. So before I continue, I want to tell you the tapes I used, because I didn't go buy any special tapes. I was like, I'm just going to use the tapes that I have. I have this black, I think it's electrical tape. I found it out in our garage. I'm not sure what it is. And then I had this fabric tape, which I really like, and it's sturdy. And then I have this packing tape, which is craft color, which I like. So that was part of it. I wanted to choose colors that I felt like would go with what I was doing, and that were also white enough. Obviously the craft tape is the whitest, and I could cut that, and maybe I would, and maybe I will, because I'm probably going to use it in the example that I show you, because it is pretty wide, and then it can come into the collage paper. Okay, so the next thing I like to do is actually just use, I collage a lot on grocery bags, craft color grocery bags, and that material is very sturdy because it carries our groceries in it. I found it is the perfect for these folders, because it's just the perfect weight, and I tend to work on them a lot. I like the colors. I like the craft color, and this one I used some kind of lime green on it, so I just extended that, and I used the black electrical tape. So, because I wanted to kind of coordinate, and this is good for some of my longer pieces of collage. Obviously, I could use use it for all kinds of things. But here's the other thing I often do with these is I make them, and sometimes I even stitch them. I didn't want to go there because I just figured I'm trying to keep it as easy as possible. But there's no reason that you couldn't stitch around the edges if you're a stitcher. If you're a stitcher, you could do that. If you have a sewing machine, you could stitch around the edge. You probably could hand stitch it. With paper, it's a little tricky when you're doing something this large, but I have often stitched with my sewing machine around the edges to make a little, let's say I was giving some cards to a friend. I might, instead of a gift bag, I might make one of these little folders, and then, I give it to them that way. Often okay, you guys, I'm going off the script here. I take the grocery bag handles. Oh, I think I might have one handy. Let me grab it. Okay. I take the grocery bag handles. I save these when I cut my grocery bags apart. And then sometimes I would just use them on each side. I would not use the side with that, but, and I might put let's say I was using it on this, I would probably also put the book text on here as well. Or I might take these off altogether, which they come off really easy. And I wasn't even planning to show this. And then I'd hear them. Isn't that cute? Like, look at that. That's my own little little carry-on bag. So I do this, or you could staple those on, or use your sewing machine, or just glue it down, because you're not going to put anything super heavy in here. It's not, there's not a flat bottom, you see, so you're stuck with papers or something thin. So anyway, that's another cute idea. I wasn't planning to talk about that today because I'm trying to stay focused, like keeping it as simple as possible. And I feel like kind of going off into stitching is a whole different ballgame. Okay, so on this particular one, what I did was I had some cardstock again, and then I just took text paper and glued it on both sides. And then I used this fabric tape around the edge. And then I just took some brown paint and kind of roughed it up a little bit. Typically, because I wanted to have more examples. So I had these other ones made, but I was like, okay, I want to show something a little bit larger than these. And if you, when you have your large collage, and I didn't have any super large collage papers that were not on this craft paper. So I wanted to show you a different example. So typically I would have had this like a regular collage paper. I'm going to grab some over here that I work on different book paper. And then that would be that I would glue that onto cardstock and then use my different various collage papers. Because the whole point of this is like, what do I already have and how can I use my collage papers in another way or use my art in another way that is a little bit practical, but it's something you can do for yourself, use to store papers and stuff yourself or to give as a gift. So that's another one. This one is, and it looks kind of grungy, but I actually liked it. I purposely tore the edges. This is a grocery bag, plain. I was not painted on. And then I took a pattern, those vintage paper patterns, tissue paper patterns, and then I had I had painted circles all over it with a little lid of something, and then I just glued it down onto the grocery bag. So then what I did is the parts that didn't stick, and I was glad I didn't go to a lot of trouble to smooth it out or anything. I just ripped those all off because I like the look of that. So again, if you were going nutty, you could add a cute little handle, and look how cute that is. I mean, it's like so cute. Anyway, enough of that. So just another craft for another time. So that one is super easy. And then I just use the craft colored tape to adhere all the way around the edges. So these are super easy. I just kind of want to show you some different ideas like of how to use your collage papers or your grocery bags to do that. Lastly, I wanted to show you one which is kind of has no relevance to what I'm showing you here. I took cardstock. I think it's cardstock. Now, I guess it isn't cardstock. I guess it is craft paper, which must mean it's a grocery bag. And I glued fabric to it. I had not done that. And so before I was going to do this, I was like, oh, I think this is a good idea. Because I'm always walking around going, what do I have? What can I make? How can I use up what I have? And this one I actually really like. So if you have some fabric, that's not using up your collage papers, but if you had some fabric laying around, this also makes a really cool, cute little pouch. And again, it's all about like how fast can I do it, the ease of it, no sewing, although you could certainly sew any of these, and that would be super easy, but that involves a sewing machine or other materials, and I'm trying to really simplify it here. So, okay, enough jibber jabber here. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I go about making these. Okay, I have some collage paper that I have made, and this is directly onto grocery bag. So, and I have two sides, kind of similar coloration. I don't like this side as well, but you know, that's how it goes. So I really like this side. I think this is really fun and will make a cute little pouch. But the other thing I went ahead and did was I pre-cut my tape. I have it over here to the side. And then I decided to cut this. I haven't done this before. Because it's so wide, I decided to cut it in half. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it's wide. I mean, it'll be wide enough. You don't need it very wide. So I just wanted to try it, and why not do that on camera in front of everybody, right? So if I did not have this, let's just pretend this is not, let's turn it over. This is not, we have nothing on here. So what I would do in this case is I would take my collage papers and create some kind of collage. Maybe I'd do colors that kind of went together, or I'd cut these out and make some kind of cool collage on here, and then do the same thing with the other page. And then once that was dry, then I would do the step that I'm doing now. So there's two ways to go about it. There's adhering the collage paper to the actual, substrate that you're using. And in this case, I'm using, the grocery bag, but you could use cardstock or whatever else you want. So I guess I just got to decide if I want that to the bottom or if I want it this way. Okay. So I have them cut to the same size. These are about 8 by 10. So it really doesn't get any easier than this. Now, if you are super particular, I think that is where it will come into play, because I'm not in general. So I'm not going to be super careful in terms of, I'm going to try to get it straight, but I'm not going to be completely unnerved if it's not exactly straight. And that's a little bit on the long side. And a lot of times what I do, and I can see it's not straight, but well, that's okay. You get the gist of it. And definitely if you want it to be straight, go to the trouble of placing it on there very well. Okay, so I do the side because it's typically shorter and it's easier to kind of get it on there the first time, because you do want them to be fairly even. I suppose there's other things you could do. You could probably take something and hold it together so you don't end up, so they don't come apart. I'm sure there's lots of ways to do this easier, but I mean, hello, you could make these all day long. So yeah, not super straight, but close enough. Okay, so there's one side, and now I'm gonna do the other side. And let's just put that on here right about, it looks straight when I do it. It just doesn't always translate when I turn it over. It's like, oh, that isn't really exactly the middle. So, okay. So there we go. There is, yes, it's this way. This is the way I like it. Okay. So now we'll do the bottom one, and I've pre-cut that as well. Literally goes right over the top of those. I might have cut that a hair too short, but oh well. It's fine. I'm not carrying a heavy load in here. It's just going to be for lightweight paper. Okay. Wow, you guys. Was this the easiest way and the coolest way to use your art? Now, what you could do is take some of that paint and help it extend off. You could add some detailing. I could add some black along here. And I noticed in this example here, that is what I did. I took some extra paint. I don't know if it's worth the trouble of doing that. The other thing you could do is, if you had, this was plain and you didn't have anything on it, and you were going to collage on it, you could tape it and then put your collage papers on it, and then the edges, for example, that's what I did in this one. I put it together first, I taped the edges, and then I glued this collage paper down. So you could, and obviously you wouldn't need to rip the edge. You could go all the way to the edge, and then you wouldn't have this tape detailing around the edge. I tried to use tape that coordinated, but like I said, I only used what I had. I didn't go out and buy any. So this is a super simple way, and it's a really fun way to use your collage papers in a very practical way, and in a way that you can use it to store things to yourself, random papers, collage papers. You could, what would be fun is, like, let's say this was, all in blues, and then you stored all your blue collage paper in here or something. I mean, I'm just making this up, but anyway, there's a lot of fun things you can do with it. It's very simple and easy, and I hope this kind of spurs you on to some of your own ideas. And I hope that you will maybe consider doing this with some of your collage, and use it for storing things or as gifts, for a gift. And so I guess that is it. I'm going to wrap it up. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.